Dzień dobry, YouTube. Ivitami to another episode of Atticus Eats. And my dear friends, this is a groundbreaking episode for you all today. We are actually having breakfast at breakfast time. This is an early morning Atticus Eats installment for you all today. Oh my goodness, friends, I have actually just gone out today purely to make this episode for you all. And this is a very special one. Again, there's a lot of really good memories associated with this place. And I have not had this place in years, so this is quite the treat. My dear friends, it is not even 9 o'clock in the morning. I got up, had a cup of coffee with Mama Bear, and played some Scrabble, and then I just hit the road, and my goodness, my friends, it was a cold one today. Now, let me define cold. I am so sorry for all of you northerners out there who sneeze and your snot freezes as it's leaving your nostrils. We're not talking about those temperatures necessarily, but as a Californian, this is cold for us. It definitely feels like winter here. When I got in the car this morning, the thermostat was reading 36 degrees, and my steering wheel was like ice cold. There was ice on my windshield. My roof and all the neighbors' roofs had a white layer of ice on them. Like frost, I mean. And so, oh my goodness, it was an experience. I have definitely been on a bit of a sojourn, but it's for the greater good of food, sustenance, and fellowship with you all. And so, definitely be sure to hit the thumbs up button on this video. Atticus is overcoming obstacles in order to get it to you. So, anyways, cool people, oh my goodness, this is as you can tell by the title, this is a very special restaurant. I'm not sure if this restaurant is, in fact, nationwide. I just simply don't know. But it's essentially like good diner food, but it's the fast food version of good diner food. And I mean, this is actually really quick. From the time I ordered to the time I got the food was probably 1 minute and 30 seconds. I was thoroughly impressed. But you guys, we're eating today from a restaurant called Jimmy Dean's. Now, as I showed in that photo in the beginning of the episode here, it says Jimmy Dean's Charboiled Burgers. I'll be honest with you though, I've never had a burger from Jimmy Dean's. I've just never experienced it. And I can't say that I've actually eaten anything beyond what I have for you all today. But there's a reason for that. And so, my dear friends, the story that I have of Jimmy Dean's is a very special one. Back when I was still on the show, and this was after I gave my life to Christ, but I first started going to church. Mom and I, we started going to church, and it was a church that was here in this particular industrial park. And we had a couple people that we knew who were going to the church. And what they did is they invited us after church one day. I think it was like after the second time that we had went. They invited us out to breakfast at Jimmy Dean's because Jimmy Dean's was within driving distance from this church. And so what was so cool is that we went there and we had it, and my mom and I both loved it. But these people that we knew immediately went on a diet the following week. And so we never went to Jimmy Dean's again with them. But we did go, Mom and I, by ourselves because we enjoyed it so much. And it was really good treat food. A special Sunday breakfast that Mom and I could have together after church, and it was like our Sunday breakfast date, right? You know, mom and son date. And so it was so special, and that was where we went for as long as we were going to the church. And it was such an amazing, amazing experience. And, you know, through time, not only through the busyness of being on the show, but also from not going to that church anymore, because actually they weren't even at that location anymore, they moved. Mom and I, we just stopped going to Jimmy Dean's. But it wasn't because the food wasn't good, it was just simply because it wasn't within, you know, a realm of feng shui in the schedule to be able to go there, right? And so, so it was so cool. I was reminded of Jimmy Dean's, the exact Jimmy Dean's, the other day, and I go, you know what, Mom? I'm gonna go, and I'm going to get what I used to get and share it with the people on Atticus Eats. And so that's what I have for you all today. Went back after years of not going to this Jimmy Dean's. I finally went back. I'm so actually thrilled to say it's literally exactly the same as it was when I was going. Same aesthetic, same quality food, same setup, same everything. And so that means the world to me because you guys know I don't like change in some degree. And so it was so cool to see that they were exactly the way they used to be. And that means the world to me. And so hopefully the food is exactly the same, i.e. excellent. And I have that for you all today. And actually, because I wanted to duplicate my exact order that I used to get, I'm crazy, it's cold out, and yet I got a milkshake. And actually, what I would always get here at Jimmy Dean's was actually a banana milkshake. And I don't remember exactly the reasoning why I chose that. I think it was something where I wanted to be different at the time, at the very first time I went there, and I got it, and I just never deviated from it ever once I got it and realized it was good. But I think it's also, too, because I used to love... There was and if you have Trader Joe's in your area, maybe you can say if you remember this or not. But Trader Joe's used to sell this really delicious protein shake in a bottle. And it was in like almost like a milk plastic bottle. And I remember getting those all the time when I was little. And when I was little, I was such a picky eater that, you know, a protein shake was actually really good for me because it gave me vitamins and nutrients and protein that I wasn't otherwise getting when I was little. And again, we're talking single digits, right? I was little. But it had somewhat of a banana flavor. And I think that's why I always liked it. And so that led me to when I got this, I liked it as well. And of course, Trader Joe's discontinued that protein shake like, I want to say almost like 15, 16 years ago. Even more than that. It was before I started the show that they discontinued it. But anyway, na zdrowie, cool people. Let's go ahead and start out strong with a little shake action. Yes. Very banana-y. Tastes like you're eating a really good, like, well, actually it's just straight bananas and cream. That's what it tastes like, bananas and cream. But man, very sweet. Little Atticus might have matured a bit in his taste buds. I'm feeling a little extra sweetness in this that I wasn't before, or I didn't acknowledge before. But good enough. It's hitting the spot, and I'm remembering things as I eat it, so that's pretty cool. But they were very generous with the napkins today. Always grateful for that. I have such a large stash of napkins in my car here. Okay, and so you all know me. You know me well. One of my favorite breakfast items to get if I'm going out somewhere to a breakfast eatery, and if they have it, is a breakfast burrito. You guys, I am so thrilled to have this again. This was one of my favorites for a long time. And it is so unique because the way that they make their breakfast burritos is it's egg and hash browns. You can get cheese if you want to. I didn't because it's just too much. But you get to pick your protein, and they have chorizo sausage. So I got chorizo in this. And what makes their breakfast burritos unique is they put chili in their breakfast burritos. Oh, I'm salivating just thinking about it, you guys. But yeah, Jimmy Dean's breakfast burrito, no cheese with chorizo, and it has the chili in it. And that's what we're going to be partaking in today. And oh my goodness, friends, I am stoked. I love it. This is hot to trot. And it's a big fella, look at that. It's like a football. An American football, I should say. Be specific. But oh my goodness, friends, na zdrowie. Tell me, do you have Jimmy Dean's in your area? If so, what do you get? What do you like to get there? Are you a breakfast person there? A lunch person there? I have to tell you, it was me and 4 other dudes in there, and every single one of us ordered breakfast burritos. That says something. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Warm, inviting, eggs with perfect bite. Haven't gotten into the potatoes yet, but the chili is that wonderful chili flavor. It's got a little bit of spice to it, which you all know that I love. And it's got that that rich, deep flavor that chili has with the meat in it. And then the chorizo sausage with its brightness and its own spices. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys. Holy guacamole. Mmm. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mmm. This takes me back. Now, one other thing that I'm going to do for you all right now. My friends, when we went here before, this is actually where Mom and I learned of the greatness that is Tapatio hot sauce mixed with ketchup. And you make a spicy ketchup. And it's funny because I actually learned to like... My favorite hot sauce before being on the show was Cholula. With the little wooden ball on the top of it. Loved Cholula. I still really enjoy Cholula to this day. But my favorite hot sauce that we always have a bottle open of it at home, and I'll put on my eggs or other things, is Tapatio. And I learned to love Tapatio because of being on set. Because on set, that was the hot sauce that they had at catering at breakfast time. So when I would get breakfast burritos on set, or just have some scrambled eggs or whatever as something quick, I would always douse it with a bit of Tapatio hot sauce on the top. And I loved it. And so they had Tapatio here at Jimmy Dean's. But then, my mom was like, hey, you know what? Let's try this. And she pulled out a container there and poured Tapatio packets and ketchup packets in it, mixed it, and we would dip our breakfast burritos in it, or put it on. Because I think my mom would always get like a breakfast sandwich when we were there. And oh my word, it added so many layers because you get the sweet from the ketchup with the spice of the Tapatio. And oh my goodness, was it so good. So, Mama Bear sent me with a little plastic container, and I scored some. They still have Tapatio and Heinz ketchup at Jimmy Dean's, and so I'm gonna go ahead and pour some off in here. I got a stir stick. Come here, you. I got a stir stick, so we're gonna put that together and mix it. See if I can open it. You want to make it equal parts. A 1-to-1 ratio is what's required for this recipe. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff. Alrighty. Dip, potato chip. Oh. Don't open on me. I just got down into the potato too. Potatoes cook perfectly. Soft, fluffy hash brown goodness. Oh my word. The chili is exploding. Friends, are you breakfast burrito people? If so, what do you usually like to put in yours? Do you make them at home? Do you have a place that you like to go to? Tell me. I'd love to know. Oh my gosh. I might have made a mistake because I was really hungry and I ate almost that entire burrito. Yeah. There's hash browns and chorizo swelling in my stomach and occupying space. It's a little dangerous. So, oh my gosh. I also just remembered too, the other reason why I would always opt for the milkshake is because that chili in that burrito combined with the Tapatio ketchup, it definitely has a little bit of kick to it. It was making my nostrils run. And so to prevent heartburn, it's a safety protocol. You should have a milkshake as you eat your breakfast burrito. Very thick ice cream for this milkshake. It's not very passable through the straw. It's definitely more solidified. I've had worse. I've had milkshakes where I couldn't even drink them or have them. I had to send them back because they were just this blob of mass. But I prefer the liquidity of things like In-N-Out shakes, you know what I mean? Or a Wendy's Frosty would actually be an even better example. It's solid, but it melts, and so you can drink it. This definitely, you have to fight for it to get it through the straw. But it definitely offers a cooling aura post the breakfast burrito. Man, how nice. How nice, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm always so grateful to be able to adventure with you all with food and do stuff. And I mean, how cool is this? For the first time in how many videos, I'm in a long sleeve, hoodie. I get to be all nice and warm and cozy. It's awesome. This is so awesome. It finally feels like winter. I'm sure things are going to be more contained by the time this video gets uploaded and you all see it. But it's definitely nice to have the cooler weather, minus the wind. And so that's definitely a huge blessing here in California. I might burp a lot. I apologize. Apparently I swallowed a lot of air as I was grazing on that breakfast burrito. But no, my dear friends, before we get into the awesome comment section questions from you all, just want to do a little bit of housekeeping right now. Definitely check out the links in the description box below. I have a link to my Twitch channel, and I go live on Twitch 3 times a week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But actually, I'm going to be instituting a minor schedule change. I'm still going to be going live 3 days a week. I'm just changing one of the days that I go live. Do me a favor, and actually a lot of people don't even know that this exists on Twitch, but if you have a Twitch account and you follow me on Twitch, there's actually a tab on my channel that's called Schedule, and if you go to that, I keep that tab updated regularly with my Twitch schedule. So if you want to plan to be able to join in on one of the streams or see the video on demand after the fact, if you can't join live, that is definitely a great means of doing that. Excuse me. And I highly recommend you checking that out. What's really cool about the Twitch schedule tab is actually it will localize the time of my stream to your time zone and your day in that time zone. We have a lot of amazing people in the community who are actually ahead of us in a day because they're from Australia or New Zealand. And so I know that especially for them it can be a little bit of a, okay, what time is that for me? Kind of scenario. And so definitely be sure to check out the schedule tab on my Twitch channel. That's a great way of being able to be up to date on when I'm going live, the consistency of what I'm doing. Also being able to see what games I'm playing when, because we're going to be getting into, and I've been doing this for a while now actually, I have 3 different stream days and I do a different game on every one of those days to keep it fresh. And so it's a really fun experience for everyone involved. Definitely be sure to check that out. Voiceover tip. If you're going in to do a voice recording or an audition, do not drink milk or any milk products. It will do this effect that you're hearing in my throat, and it's a butthole if you're wanting to get voiceover work. I learned that on Frankenweenie, actually, and it's just been applicable in my life ever since, and this milkshake is reminding me of it. I won't be having any more of the milkshake. The second housekeeping thing, as always, my dear friends, is if you'd like to support me and the work that I do here on my YouTube channel as well as my Twitch channel, please be sure to click the link in the description box below to my Cameo page. I would be thrilled and honored to be able to make your special celebrations for yourself or your family extra special with a personalized video shout out from me. So definitely consider booking me down on Cameo. And again, it goes to support the work that I do here on my channels. But, moving right along now, we have some awesome, awesome YouTube comment section questions to answer for you all today. Another couple of really good ones. And I'm excited to answer them now. And the first one is kind of a deep one. I hope I'm saying your name correctly, my friend. Bruce Lugley Art on YouTube. You know who you are, Bruce. Asks, what did the middle teach you in all the years that the TV series lasted, and what can you apply to your life now? Absolutely fantastic question, Bruce, and I greatly appreciate you asking it, my friend. The biggest thing, and this is something that I've kind of realized, I've spoken with at length with my mom and with friends of mine, the biggest thing that I think I learned from being on the middle, which a lot of people need to understand the context of, and that is, I was a kid, albeit a mature kid, I was a kid who grew up working. So I had to grow up very, very quickly. There were some things that I definitely wish I wasn't needing to be exposed to that early, but I was. And we needed to go with it. And my mom was very excellent about being a great teacher, a great steward, and a great advocate for me, which I've discussed at length here on the channel. But I was a kid who had to grow up very quickly. And so there were lots of different things that I was learning literally by being in the deep end of the pool. It was trial by fire, and it was just, okay, you're in it now, do it. And figure out how to cope, survive, function, work, be professional, all those other things. And again, these are all the different elements that now, later on, being away from the show, being older, I'm very much in a position of knowing and learning and understanding myself more. But the biggest thing that I learned was the fact that I was on a set with about 200 to 250 other people that I was working with from all different departments. I might not necessarily work with them every day, but they were there. They were part of the production team nonetheless, right? And in that, I was able to work with a lot of different people who had a lot of different personalities, a lot of different belief systems, and a lot of different ways of expressing themselves. And the biggest thing for me that I learned and was a takeaway was, how do you interact with people who do not share your belief system and have different ways of expressing themselves than you do? That's huge. You know, unfortunately, but fortunately, it's just the way it is kind of thing. We can't tell people how to behave, necessarily. You can request people to, there's a fine line between a person being an individual person with a personality and that same person being harmful to others. There's a very fine line there. And you have to, a lot of different people actually, in any workspace, have to balance that. I think that it's very important to demonstrate professionalism, care, and thoughtfulness toward your fellow man, toward your coworkers, toward the people above you, in pay and in positions of authority, if you will, and people below you, right? You need to be kind to everyone. Kindness is this big thing that the world is lacking, and we need more of, and it starts by being more thoughtful about the people around you. But again, there is a difference between absurd controlling, which people do try to do, and have for a while now, and just kindness and compassion and thoughtfulness. Hey, that I've been through some experiences, and that sort of talk or hearing about that stuff kind of makes me uncomfortable. Can you just not talk about that around me specifically? Yeah, sure, I got you. I'm sorry that you went through that. That kind of thing, that's realistic. That's being polite and kind. But anyway, the long and the short of it being, I was able to learn from a very early age, okay, here's a bunch of different people with a bunch of different belief systems. I can be true to myself and demonstrate my belief system, especially my faith, which my belief system is faith, versus enforcing it or inflicting it upon others. If someone else has an opposing belief system to me, that's fine so long as they're not inflicting that or forcing that their belief system upon me. If I can still be me and I can still exercise my beliefs as a Christ follower, which is the chief example, then we're good. Even better, that despite opposing belief systems, we can still come together as the team of, for example, we're team the middle, and let's make our awesome show happen and the best that it can be, and have it be a very safe, welcoming, supportive set, right? And so I think that that's a very, very, very critical life skill. And with that actually comes the ability to know how to communicate with people, which actually, especially ever since COVID, people have lost the ability to know how to communicate. They think this is communication, and it's not. Text speak is not how you speak to a human being. Neither is the meanness from the anonymity that comes from being on a screen or talking through a screen. That's not realistic. That's not how it's been. We have thousands upon thousands of years of evidence that that's not how it always was. And this should not be the be-all and end-all. You know, and that's actually kind of the interesting thing that's different, where we have videos as opposed to text messages. Granted, you all are typing through text in the comment section, but I love this community because so many of you are so eloquent in your speech and in your capability to speak and share, and that's a blessing for me. So it is like reading little miniature stories or journal entries or blog posts from you all, as opposed to just LOL, BRB, TTYL. So long and the short of it being, the ability to communicate is also the chief capability that I definitely honed and definitely was able to grow in that skill set, being able to work on the show, which that is something that you can take with you to any job in any situation. And that's an effective tool in one's toolbox to not only survive, but thrive in life. So, Bruce, excellent question, my friend. Internet high five to you. Thank you for asking that. And my friends, we got one other one. I've often wondered, this is from Wanda Arndt, A-R-N-T, 234 on YouTube. And she asks, I've often wondered, are actors born or made? What do you think? So, I'm going to get very philosophical here, I think. Maybe that's the right word. Maybe it's not. We'll find out together after I'm done talking. But let me give you a detailed answer to that, more than just a yes or no. You need to define actor, right? An actor is a thespian, is an artist. It's one who is embodying a character. And good actors can embody and become a character so realistically and naturally that they're no longer acting like they're acting. To answer your question, are actors born or made? It would absolutely be both, but the context of the actor is what's different. I believe that there are people, I believe that in artistry as a whole, because as a Christ follower, I know from the Bible that we are all given very unique gifts that are specific for us, because our Father in heaven wants each of us to do individual work that he has tasked us specifically to do in his infinite foreknowledge. I believe that there are people who are given talents from birth. They may not discover those talents right away. It may take time or some sort of story or situation to ignite that passion in them and then prompt them to hone those skills. But I do believe that people are given gifts and given talent for a purpose. May not even be lifelong. It may be just for a segment of their life, but it's nonetheless there. Or it's something that they do that's cathartic and healing for them, right? I do believe that as humans, made to be people with personalities individually by a creator who has a personality, who is himself the chief artist, I truly believe that there are talents that are given to people from birth, and especially if it's a passion for them, they get so enraptured in that brain space, in that spiritual space, where they are able to become one with their art, and it's truly them putting themselves into their work. That's where you get the best, most natural performances from actors of any medium, and that's very, very, very critical. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, there are also ways where we are creatures that have been designed to learn, that is a skill that we can hone in this life, is how to learn and learn well. And in that, we can absolutely grow, whether you have natural talent or not. You can learn, well, maybe we can take this a step further. Let's say you're given talent. You can grow and hone that talent. You learn your different skill sets. As a voiceover actor, you learn new voices that you can make as your voice develops, as you go through puberty and age. You learn what is your wheelhouse of spectrum, of emotion, whether it be in a character voice or not. Facial expressions, which stem from emotion that you allow yourself to feel. The ability to listen to your scene partner when you're acting in a scene. The ability to take notes from a director or a writer or a producer and implement them into the performance. These are all things that you can learn. And to apply well is its own skill set. Even more than that, though, and as an aside, I do believe that actors can be made, but most often those actors are probably 9 times out of 10 going to be acting like they're acting. They've been taught acting, they've not been taught embodying, which is really what real acting is supposed to be. And again, as I said previously, that's what some of the best performances are. You don't look and say, this is Tom Hanks performing a character, as an example. You just see the character. And actually a really prime example of that, and this had a lot of CGI in it, but it's real nonetheless, is that Mom and I just last night, we finished watching a movie that she discovered on Prime called The Creator. And I remember the trailers coming out for it. It came out in 2023, and I think what ended up happening is it kind of got stomped out by Indiana Jones, the last one. And so it was one of those situations where it kind of came and went, and I don't think it got as popular as it could have. But that movie, the brain and the minds that it took to create that world, come up with the designs for everything that the characters interacted with, where it was futuristic but still relatable and understandable, and to be able to, beginning, middle to end, have people that you just believed were the people that they were, or the robots that they were, and then be engrossed in it. That's actual art. And that was a joint effort from every department. The director, the writers, the producers, the CGI artists, the actors, the wardrobe, the props. That's everybody coming together and literally building a world, right? And so I know that was a very detailed answer, Wanda, but I definitely feel that that's something that deserves a lot of thought in answering. And even beyond that, too, one of the greatest pleasures of my life was, and because I've experienced this personally and in different phases throughout my life, is when I had the ability to teach. I was a teacher for 3 years in a film program at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. And it always amazed me how we would get these high school students in who were very passionate about films, TV, a whole bunch of different stuff. And what ended up happening is they didn't know what jobs were available in the industry where they could exercise their creative muscles well, but specifically for them. And so by the time they were done with the class, you had people who were like, I want to be in the industry, but I don't know what I want to do. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to become a director of photography, or I want to be an editor. I didn't know I had the ability to edit like this and work with programs, and this is so much fun for me, and I would love to make a living from this. Or even become a voiceover artist or something like that, right? And so it really amazed me to see that transpire. And so from that standpoint, again, that goes back to what I was saying previously. You may not know what your gift or your talent is straight away, but by the time you discover it, that's now the time to hone it, to be passionate about it, to exercise those muscles and refine yourself in the best way that you can. So, Wanda, thank you very much for that question. That was absolutely awesome. And my dear friends, thank you so much for joining me once again for another episode of Atticus Eats. As always, please hit the thumbs up button on this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and please be sure to share this video on all your social media. It would be a great, great pleasure for me to be able to continue to see this community grow, but with like-minded people. And the only way that that'll happen is if they get to see it and know that it exists. So help me out in this way, my dear friends. Help me out by checking out those links in the description box below, and I can't wait to see you in the next one, my dear friends. God bless. Do vidzenia.
I just want a great life, something where I feel like I just didn't waste time, something I look back and say that was a great time, cause man, I just hate when the years pass by the